Hey guys, I wanted to send you a quick message to sum up today's lab. You guys did really, really well. I was quite actually impressed with what you guys conquered today. You did 3 miles, and when was the last time you did that? That's one of the main things I like about that trail is the exposure to learning, one, where the place is at. There is another side that the trail actually starts at, and quite honestly, I actually start almost all of my runs on the opposite side. So my turnaround is usually where you guys started. So if you become more familiar with that trail, you'll start to see kind of what I'm talking about as far as length in quarter miles, maybe even pace, and start using terms like cadence or interval training or stuff like that we talked about in our previous lab. In any case, so now you have a rough idea of what you could maybe do in a 5K. And what we're going to be doing on Wednesday is I'm going to show you what it looks like to run a half marathon. Now, a half marathon is much more manageable than a full. There's no doubt about that, which makes my boot camp class, that's why I'll say it's so easy for them to run a half marathon, is because it really is something that you can just go out and do with just even a short window of training. Now, if you want to get better, if you want to get faster, that's where actual training comes into play. And as I said on Wednesday of last week, I'm not training you guys to become slower. I'm educating you so that if you want to become faster, you can. And so on Wednesday, we're going to just throw down a bunch of different types of workouts. So we're going to be looking at cardiovascular training theory, I guess. And, up on the board, just to kind of get a plan for if you're going to cycle, if you're going to get on an elliptical trainer, if you're going to get on a recumbent bike, a stationary bike, if you're going to get on a rower or go for a run. I personally, 2 days a week, I really train hard. And that's mainly so I can tap into my fast twitch muscle fibers and just to keep those guys firing. Because even if I'm just going out for a 7-mile run, I'm not really tapping into those guys. When you're tapping into your fast twitch muscles, you are really cooking. And you can sustain that level of exertion for about between 30 seconds and 2 minutes at the most. And so I'm really trying to tap into that area a couple days a week. And then my other days, I'm just really kind of more just getting some miles, just really working the circulatory system, the aerobic energy system from chapter 4, and just getting a nice steady state bout of exercise. And right now, some of you are there and you can go out for an X amount of time, maybe 20 or 40 minutes, while other people are simply not. So I think I talked about this already, maybe in my boot camp, is that if you are finding yourself getting winded, really tired, really quick, then spend more time in a very slow to moderate pace and don't feel like you need to win the race now. Really take your time getting into a nice aerobic training zone and realize today you guys ran 3 miles. It takes me 3 to 4 miles to really get warmed up. Honestly, so what you did is just a warm up for me, mainly because I'm old. I'm hurting everywhere, and it sucks. So my bones, my ligaments, my ligaments and muscles get really sore. Not ligaments, tendons. My muscles and tendons just get really tight when I'm just getting out of bed, heading out for a run. And so it takes me 3 or 4 miles just to get those babies warmed up and get the blood flow to warm up those muscles and to start removing the CO2 and bringing in oxygen and all the nutrients that's needed for that cardiovascular bout for the skeletal muscles. And that doesn't even include what we're talking about with the heart. It takes the heart a little while to get warmed up as well. So it just takes the body a little bit of time to get warmed up. And honestly, my best runs, I don't know if I've told you this, but my best runs are anytime I'm going over 10 miles. Because at that point, I can really get into kind of the physical presence of running, and it's no longer hurting. It takes a little while to train up to that point. But my point is that running also provides a meditative state. It provides relaxation amidst the pain. It provides critical thinking for projects I'm working on at work. It provides deep thought for my personal life. It provides problem solving for issues I may be having in a personal life, or problem solving with maybe a committee that I'm in charge of a project and I'm trying to really wrap my head around something. So that meditative state that I reach in running takes about an hour to get to. I'll say between 8 and 10 miles to really achieve that level. And in the middle of that, so how do you get to 10 miles? Well, you start with 3. You start with what you guys did today, and you just slowly move up. I didn't start my first day of training with a 10 or 15 mile run. It took a long time to get to that point. So no matter where you're at, you did something today, and that's something to build on. And I would encourage you to do a cross-training type of day on your non-running days, so that you're not always beating up the same muscles at the same angles. And if you need information about what I'm talking about with the angular movement within running, let's ask that question in class on Wednesday. So if you want to come to that if you have that question about what in the world are you talking about, angular movements, remind me to bring that up, because that's not something that is necessarily assessed in our class. So I move through that pretty quick. Unless there's a question, that's where the fun stuff is. It's like when you guys start asking questions. In any case, we're at 6 minutes, man. I didn't expect this video to last that long. If you have any questions, just write them down. As far as just, I'll say more education-based questions. If you have any questions about your own training, write those questions down and ask them in class, because that will maybe get one of your peers to also ask questions about their own training. And you can actually start to create your own little training theory based off of things you're learning from the text, things that we're doing out in lab, and also some of the stuff I'm throwing at you. In any case, great job today, and I will plan to see you on Wednesday. If you have any questions, you know what to do.